So there was a bit of drama last week where we got the BSF news, and it turns out that Premium was going to be a singles format, but also that we would either be having Premium or a Lyrical Monastery Cup at certain locations. So one or the other. And that did raise quite a lot of discussions on the internets from a lot of people, because Premium in the West is really, really popular compared to the East, compared to Japan specifically. And in the West, we're actually not too fond of a Lyrical Monastery Cup. We don't really care that much about Lyrical Monastery. There are definitely some people who like it, but a whole cup dedicated to it is not something that people would be willing to sacrifice Premium over. And there has been a lot of discussions. People say that this is their chance to get that Mikoto prize card energy generator that's worth a lot of money out, and that everyone will be jumping on the Lyrical Monastery Cup instead because of that. And there's just a lot of talk. So here is my thoughts. So first of all, when it comes to Premium in the West, I think a lot of people don't understand why people play Premium, and there's probably a misconception that most players play standard, which is true. There's a lot of standard players, and they play Premium on the side. Before, dedicated Premium players who are there because they like playing Premium and not just there to get a BCS invite or anything like that. They're there because they like Premium. They play Premium primarily and then play standard on the side. So when you put this Lyrical Monastery Cup, you are basically turning those players away. And I don't really think they're a small group in the Premium community. I would wager to say that they are a large amount of the Premium player base in the West. And if you were to cancel Premium and put a Lyrical Monastery Cup, then people probably won't be willing to travel to your events. And the crazy thing is that Premium really hasn't received much support at all. We basically get the one set a year that doesn't really support anything. We used to get the Premium collections, but not anymore. The last 2 years we got a history collection, and then this year we got the 3 decks, and that's kind of it. But in spite of that, Premium has been growing a lot in the West. The only time it hasn't grown was BSF, but that was more likely due to the fact that BSF had a really terrible prize structure in 2024. So it's kind of annoying, right? Honestly, it's kind of sad that Premium is being kind of shafted like this. It'd be nice if they gave us more info on what's actually happening. Now, I'm guessing a lot of players would say, why don't Premium players just play standard? They can just play one of the Stride decks. Everyone has a G-Zone now, and then you do your Stride stuff, and it's pretty much the same as Premium. That is not really the case. Premium, I think having Strides in Premium is, a nice component of it, but when it comes down to what makes Premium interesting for the Premium players, it's not just the Strides. There's basically 3 things: being able to build your deck in a very unique way, having a lot of back and forth in the game, and the fact that the time that you invest into Premium is rewarded through consistency. So what does that all mean? So first off is deck building, for example. There's a lot of depth to deck building. I think the biggest problem of standard right now is that even though you can never get grade stuck, so there shouldn't be any restrictions to how you build your deck, because you don't have to worry about deck ratios or ride ratios or whatever like that. Most decks look the same. You look at a levidras deck, 48 out of 50 cards are the same. You look at a Shoujo Doji deck, 48 out of the 50 cards are pretty much the same. And it keeps on going like that. You look at a Bermuda deck, it's just a bunch of generics, and then a couple of cards in the ride line, a couple of cards of support, and that's it. So in terms of deck building, there's not really that much there. However, if you look at a Premium deck, basically, if you built your own deck, it's very, very different from other people who've built their decks. And every single card that you put in there has a reason why it's put there in there. And that's in a format where you have to worry about your ratios, worry about misriding and things like that. So in spite of that, all the decks and the options that you build or you put into your deck are very, very important, and they're very much worth it. That's one of the reasons. It's not just about the strides, right? It's not just I can stride. This is pretty much just like Premium. I think the play style in Premium is also very, very different from that of D. D can be very lateral. Your deck is built to do one thing. Your whole gimmick is to do one thing, and then that's what your entire deck is going to do. And that's what you're going to be doing for the whole game. Your deck is going to Persona Ride. It's going to do its gimmick. You're going to attack 5 times or something like that, and that's pretty much it. But when it comes to premium, there's a lot more back and forth. There's you don't always get the correct rides. You have to work around bad situations. You have to know when to capitalize on big situations. There's a lot more options you can access just because of that stride deck. You don't just only have 2 or 3 strides that you're going to. Do you G guard here? Do you G guard there? A lot more interactions, and there's a lot more back and forth. And then finally, when it comes down to the time invested in premium, you get more of it back, right? You learn all the matchups. You learn how to play your deck optimally. Even though there's things like triggers and over triggers, there's a lot more options for you to come back from that too. So by that, the more time you put into premium, the better your results generally are versus standard, where, in the end, it's still best of 1. But because standard's power level is very trigger reliant, or can be very trigger reliant, there's not much you can do as a really good player. You'll reach your ceiling pretty quickly, especially when you account for other things. Everyone's deck is very similar, so you can reach that ceiling quicker. And then, the game plan for all decks are pretty homogenized, right? So that's basically the main reason why premium players love playing premium, and how it's so different from that of standard. It's not like we're trying to start a war between standard and premium, and the reality is we really shouldn't, because we should be standing on a united front. I think both formats are very, very important for the longevity of Cardfight Vanguard, especially in the West, because they serve different kinds of people. This is like in Magic the Gathering, where you have standard format and then modern format, legacy formats, things like that. Those all serve different things, but they can all be supported. And if one format is bad, you can always play the other. When people say things like, oh, premium players, when they see the pricing for, Lyrical Monastery, they're definitely going to play Lyrical Monastery Cup instead. That's not going to happen. What's likely going to happen is that those players would just go play a different game. And that's bad for Bushiroad, because as Bushiroad, you want to keep all these people who are playing Cardfight Vanguard inside your sphere as long as possible. They have to... When they stop playing Vanguard, they want to keep on playing Vanguard, because that means they buy more product, they see a point in joining all the tournaments and things like that. I think that's very, very important for the game. And I mean, the reason why premium gets probably no support in the West is because Japan doesn't see a reason to support premium, because there's no premium players in Japan at all. And I would say that, yeah, that's probably why, but why don't they try and make that a reality? Your standard gravy train is going pretty good, but why not add more? You could hit more people. And when you think about it this way, right? Premium has been doing well for a format that has gotten minimal to no support. But the thing that they do is they run tournaments. So if you run tournaments, but with little to no support, you get more and more people joining the tournaments every year. While in Japan, it's like the opposite. They do get some product. It's actually more accessible for them to probably buy cards because of just how their singles market is done. But then they don't have tournaments. So people just don't see a point in buying any product or supporting the format at all. Maybe if they just put in a few more tournaments a year, people will see that there's a point in playing the format and actually investing time and energy into, playing the format and showing how good it is. So I don't know. I feel like the situation for premium is not unsalvageable. I think in both regions, it's still doable, but it really just requires Bushiroad to maybe not like the format, but at least respect the players playing them, because the players playing these formats are their oldest players. They've been playing the game for a very long time. They do invest money into the game as well, but right now we're in a TCG bubble where there's so many more choices and so many TCGs vying for your time that I think it'd be a big miss if they decide to go, hey, let's not worry about premium anymore. Let's just homogenize it all to standard. Because then players who love premium would be going, well, if I don't like standard that much, what other TCG is out there? One that I can invest my time into and get a decent amount of rewards. Because the reality is, like, people who play Vanguard, they're not in here for the money. They're not going to look at the energy generator and go, whoa, that generator is $1,000. I'm definitely going to play this part now. No, they just like playing Vanguard. I think Vanguard has great mechanics. compared to other TCGs out there. But the thing is that they just want to at least have some support, you know? I think that's the most important part. So that's kind of like my rant on the situation. Now, like the one thing that maybe is a reason why Premium is singles for BSF is that they might be trying to make the prize the same as the Lyrical Monasterio prizes. So that means, you know, if Lyrical Monasterio Cup is done via singles, they only have like a singles prize support versus like a team's prize support. So for the places that don't run Lyrical Monasterio Cup, they're just gonna give that prize to the Premium side. But I don't know. Right, that's just my speculation, but I do think it's very important to get that communication out there if that's the case. But also, people do like teams. There's a reason why they brought back teams format, because people actually like it, and I do think, you know, having premium teams is actually really, really fun. So that's kind of my thoughts about it. Premium is very important for the West, and looking at some of the responses so far, I think a lot of people agree, and it's great to see that. Let your opinions be known. I hope Premium lasts. That's just pretty much it. If it doesn't, then I'm not sure. Anyway, that's it for me. Quick video this time. I'll see you all next time. All right, bye.